Yes, madam, we can begin. Yes,
Okay.
please continue.
Thank you, Father Tom, for making it online live. Yes, YouTube live and Facebook live. So that more people will watch. So let me say that my name is Riniralte Larinamiralte. I am from Mizoram. I am right now the president of the Northeast Solidarity based in Bangalore, where we have more than 5 lakhs of community members. There is no registration as such. Yeah, so we have Ministry of Home Affairs gave us police IPS ranking for our nodal officer. So with the help of the nodal officer, we are attending help crisis. So with that nature of work, we will continue our network because Northeast Solidarity has been very instrumental in reaching out to different states, different people, different walks of life who are landed in different cities of India for different purposes, mainly for their livelihood, employment, and education. So today our meeting is going to discuss about we are not professional, we are not government, we are not even NGO. Many of us are individual who are not representing any organization, even church. So we are all we are all citizens, members of citizens who are expressing our view very strongly. So these views are individual views, and then nothing to be afraid of it because we are bringing a proposal, a big proposal to the government wherever it applies to. Okay, now I will request our panelists to spend about 3 to 4 minutes and introduce themselves and then share their thoughts and their ideas and their action and their involvement. Now I will request Dr. PBM Basai Moit. Dr. PBM Basai Moit is from Shillong, and he is an ordained pastor of the Presbyterian Church of the Meghalaya. Yeah, Khasi Synod. Over to you, Dr. Basai Moit.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. I have been, or Meghalaya has been engaged in this boundary dispute since a few years back after it became a state in 1972. So it's a long story to go back to that, but this is not the time to tell stories. Because what I have found personally is when the boundary issue was taken up, or when Meghalaya state was created, the Northeastern Areas Reorganization Act of 1971 was passed. And boundaries, villages entering a part of Meghalaya or part of Assam are in that. But those villages, or 12 villages there, are contentious areas. As well as way back in 1958, when we were still part of Assam, there was also by the revenue officer of the Jowai civil subdivision, a kind of enumeration was taken along the what we call today as Block 1, Block 2, which borders Karbi Anglong. At that time, enumeration was taken by the revenue officer as to where would they want to do those villages. So when the state was created, there may have been anomalies or forgetfulness on the part of the There's background noise which is disturbing. Okay, so we found that perhaps at that time there was hardly any discussion on which villages would be part of Meghalaya, mainly of Khasi Hills. Background noise again. Can you hear me? No. Hello.
Yeah,
Hello.
yes,
We can
yes,
hear you.
Reverend Pastor Ahmed, you can go on, please go on.
The background noise is
Okay,
disturbing.
just a second, yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. So I will not go into all those details. You'll go into pages and pages. And then in 1985, retired Chief Justice Chandrachud Commission was formed at that time to go into this boundary issue. Now, unfortunately, at that time when the Chandrachud Commission was set up, the government of Meghalaya did not take into confidence at the grassroots level. And I remember way back in 1987 when I was in Delhi, and our late Hoping Stone Lingdor, our Hill State leader, who was MP, MLA, MDC, and all that, I met him in Delhi, and I said, "What are you doing here?" He said, "I want meeting with the Constitute Commission." At that time, he was a chief executive member of the Khasi Hills Autonomous District Council. So I said, "Are you going there in the name of KHADC?" He said, "No, I'm going personally because the government of Meghalaya did not give our names or listed us as parties to share with the Chandrachud Commission. And none of the village heads or these aims we have were taken into conference or given to the list. And therefore, the Chandrachud Commission, when it came out, the government of Meghalaya rejected the report and recommendation of that Chandrachud Commission because it was their fault. Because our land holding system is different from other parts of India, I would say. We are matrilineal. Both Khasis and Galos are matrilineal. So these were not taken into factors, into consideration. And when the commission came, gave a report, and ever since, there has always been incursion. Though the government of Assam has blamed that since Himanta Biswa Sharma became Chief Minister, that Meghalaya has made 53 incursions into Assam. We are surprised at that. We never heard of that. We didn't know about Yongkuli village near Khanapara, near Pirangkata. At the simultaneous.
Basai,
Reverend Pastor Ahmed,
Basai, you are muted. Basai, we could not hear you. What happened? What happened?
It's surprising. At the same time, they got reported. They also Arunachal. So 3 states at one go. Now that is very surprising to us. It never happened before, and particularly with Mizoram. Now, when we formed, I know the history of Mizoram and the history of Meghalaya. We go back to the British period. Even some of our land now are still in Bangladesh, because when the British came to take over, to rule this northeast part of India, they divided into plains areas and hill areas. So land of the tribal people will be in the villages or in the plain area also. But British administration, they took those plains under our plain area revenue and hill areas as hill areas revenue. And when the India got independence, so those land where in Bangladesh were lost, and nobody fought for those land to come back. Now, till today, we have the Jangkipur in Bangladesh, which was the name of the kingdom of the aim of Raja, we call aim king. In Khasi's aim is king. So these things, these factors, right from the time, it goes back to those stories, how to remedy that. Not possible. Which has gone to Bangladesh cannot be taken back. But we talk of the 7 sisters in Northeast. 7 sisters, they quarrel, but they don't fight. They may quarrel, but they don't kill. So that should be the spirit that we should have in Northeast. Otherwise, we cannot call ourselves as 7 sisters. So I would go more into the positive side, that we need to go again, as I told the Meghalaya Chief Minister in 2012, that we need to set up a people's delegation to the government of India. When Mukul Sangma was a Chief Minister and he called a meeting to talk about the boundary issues, and I went not as an NGO or not, but I just went as an activist and was allowed to enter. And I said, let's set up no more a Chief Minister's delegation, but go as a people's delegation to Delhi. And we have to take into factors. Mizoram justice system is different. The Khasi system is different. The Garo system is different. The Naga system is different. Now, those factors should be taken. How do we whole land holding system is different. You cannot generalize. Maybe these are some of the factors that has caused these problems. Earlier it was ethnic, now it's called boundary, and then almost every state except Manipur and Tripura, they have not raised the issue of a boundary conflict with Assam. So they also have boundaries with Assam. What I would like is for all the governments to take the grassroots level into confidence. Like some kind of history since the formation of India. Some kind of history should be there. You cannot expect a Khasi village to go to Assam. You cannot expect a Mizo village to go to Assam. See, that just to draw the map will not solve the problem. Just to go by a survey map of India will not solve the problem. These are human problems, ethnic problems. It's people's problems. The economic, as Dr. Rini shared us now, Assam may be planning for economic blockade to Assam, to Mizoram. But then, if we also start economic blockade, then the people in Silchar and Karimganj will not get. Because the route has to go through Meghalaya, to go to Kachar, to go to Karimganj. Now, you see, those factors have to be taken. We all need to grow up together. We need to understand each other, our difficulties, our people, and then don't let the people fight on the streets just because of this. Fortunately or unfortunately, the Meghalaya Chief Minister was not so proactive in this issue as Mizoram Chief Minister of Zoram Thanga, because he had his own battles with Kong Angela Rangan. She had been sitting for the last 7-8 days in front of the Meghalaya, just outside the Meghalaya Secretariat. And so he's more bothered with that, rather where the suffering of the people in the border villages. Our MLAs have gone there to see them, to visit them, and NGOs are picking up. So we don't want it to become a serious matter. And even one of my friends, Joe Lamare, which I think a copy of his letter I've sent to Rini, Paratong, and Ralin Diki also, which he had written directly to the Chief Minister of Assam. So I would propose in that we can also go on discussing on this, and we need to go also as a Northeast delegation to Delhi. Take it up with the Home Minister, with the Donaire Minister, and also with the Prime Minister. And maybe not.
Basai, can you wind up in 2 minutes, in 1 minute?
No, I'm planning to wind up in 1 second. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm over.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Basai Moit, for bringing up the historical background and how the larger sisterhood, 7 sisters and 1 brother, tension, what is the context of that, yeah, calling and naming. Thank you very much for your bringing. So please remain, and then we'll have a discussion at the end, because many important points you brought out. Now I will invite Miss Larin Moi Fan Ai Tete from Mizoram. So Tete, over to you.
Hi, Nute, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for inviting me, Nute. But to be honest, I didn't expect this to be the way it is, me being a panelist and all that. I mean, I'm just a concerned, simple citizen, and with a Mizo heart. And add to that, a keen sense of justice and fairness, and being a Christ follower, which runs very deep. I don't know why you invited me to be a so-called panelist, but yes, I did write a response recently to Arnab's Republic TV so-called debate, which was very hard to take. And yeah, let me not follow that path right now. But I must admit, I'm not acquainted for too long or too deeply into this issue of boundaries, like Brother Bastayamoy and many others who I'm sure are, viewing and are participating in this Zoom meeting right now. I have been away from the Northeast for many, many years, and I came home recently, maybe how many years, 3, 4 years, and there have been stray incidents in the past 3, 4 years that drew one's attention. And correct me if I'm wrong, anyone, but I think there has been aggression always from our brothers' side, from the Assamese side. And as a Mizo, of course, you are concerned and it draws your attention. And yeah, stray incidents here and there, girls, young people were manhandled by the police and things like that. I mean, I don't remember dates and incidents precisely, but last year was another very heartbreaking and very hard boundary issue. And more so because it was in the middle of a worldwide crisis of a pandemic that, that attacked us all, that all of us fought with and battled with together as humanity. And I think that really broke us. It did. And it was so uninvited. Ransacking, burning, destruction, and blocking your food chain line and your roads. With the intention to starve you to death or what? These are the things that I personally question. And I don't say that the Assamese and the Mizos. I think I address this and I look upon this as many of these factors as humane factors. And coming to and addressing, I know I have just 3 minutes, I'll try to finish soon. Coming through the recent incident, 2-3 days ago, the 26th, that too, it was shocking. If some of you have read what I wrote, gentlemen, heads of states respected gentlemen met together and parted with a happy resolution to look for ways and to work towards a peaceful resolution of a situation, a problem that's been there for years and years, decades. You know, this land is my land, no, this land is mine and that is yours. I mean, there are facts and figures, and historically, the experts and the lawyers and the authorities will take care of that. But yeah, after gentlemen parted happily, suddenly out of the blue, a drove of armed policemen ready with ambulance and whatnot, just, you know, march into your land and displaced your, drove out your policemen and outnumbered them. And no, that's not enough. Go further and park yourselves, you know, right at the very entrance of the village, right within the village, where the civilians park their auto rickshaws. You know, civilians, of course, will fight back. But then they were lathi charged. Yeah, you all have been following the videos and the news clippings, and I don't need to elaborate further on that. But what I'm saying is, there is an aggressor. There are, you know, we are 7 sisters and we've lived together in harmony, you know, within the frame of and with all this dispute, very complicated border disputes, but nevertheless, we've lived peacefully together. And why incite this kind of aggression in the midst of you know, talks among heads of states, agreement between heads of states to resolve it peacefully, and yeah, in the midst of a worldwide crisis of COVID? To me, Nute, and everyone, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. It's inhuman. It's not at all neighborly, but not to talk of that, it's inhuman. Now, my question is, why? Why has this happened? Okay, there's pressing need to resolve it, and authorities and governments need to address it. But why has this happened now? What is the brain and what is the ideology behind it? Who are behind this totally uninvited and unexpected move? And then, of course, you have your Republic TVs and who nots and what nots, trying to incite fury and pain further for different sides. And to that, I would like to say that let's remember and let's insist on our sisterhood. Today, I wrote another response to, which TV was that? I think it was Times Now. You know, we are 7 sisters. And let us always remind each other that, and let nothing and no one be allowed to play any divisive role, or let's not allow that at all to happen. Okay, this has been unfortunate. You go to war, you take your arms, you shoot, the enemy or the opposition shoots back. no one knows who died or how many casualties. And having said that, I would like to offer our heartfelt condolences to the families of those policemen who lost their lives. Totally, totally unnecessary. Their lives are were precious. Widows, children without dads. I mean, who did this? I think we need to ask who initiated this and who gave the order and why. We didn't. And I invite, if any of our Assamese brothers and sisters are here, I would like to assure you that you are our brothers and sisters. And let us address this together. Your Assamese police died. They are also our brothers and sisters. They are human lives. They were fathers. They were husbands. Why were they put, why were they put there in the front line? And why were their lives endangered? I think, Lute, my 3 minutes is over.
Okay,
And
thank you very much.
I rest my case. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Miss Larin Moifan, I thank you very much for bringing up the issue, your heartbreaking experiences for what had happened to those policemen killed, particularly and injured. We
Oh,
are
Lute, sorry,
people.
can I just add one more?
Sure.
Can I just add one more thing? The media often allude to this incident as never heard of incident, inhuman, brother against brother, Indian killing Indian. We Mizos, we come from a background of having our own Indian jet fighters bombing our town. Okay? Of having our own women raped by our own Indian army, and of having our villages being displaced. That's in the past. But the heart still ticks. And we don't want bloodshed. We've been there. And, Mizos or Mizo police firing Assamese police, Indian firing Indian. I just wanted to mention that. That is not new to us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. You say so. The heart of the Mizo, we are heartbroken for the loss of many lives. Okay, now I will invite Lalbiag Dikit Namte. We may call her Dikte Namte. Dikte, please introduce yourself and where you are working, and then how accountable you have with your message, the big letter you wrote. Over to you, Dikte.
Thank you, Unute. I hope everyone can hear me. I hope I'm audible. I am Lalbiag Dikit Namte, as Unute has introduced me. I am now a professor in the Department of Education in Mizoram University, and I am also president in the Mizoram Educational Foundation, which is an association of education teachers in Mizoram. And as Unute has said, the name of this association, Northeast Solidarity, I don't remember the full thing, but the name itself is quite attractive in amidst the present situation that we have. And I am sure that this discussion tonight will bring us closer together against all the odds that is not in favor of whatever is going on. But like Utete has said, I think the invitation that I received was due to those articles that I have written, my heart, where I have shared my feelings regarding what has happened. And like the two, of course, Pubasai Moit has said something about the historical thing of boundary, but I am not going to talk into that part because I don't know. I'm not a historian and I'm not from geography or any subject that is related to the boundary disputes that is an ongoing issue, not only in the northeastern region, but if you look at the states within India also, you will find that there are lots of arguments or quarrels between states also. But the escalation, the situation that we are faced with today is really something that we should think on, to ask each other, among ourselves also, let us ask each other, how important is the neighboring state to us? We call ourselves fondly as the Seven Sisters. And to the mainland India, we show a united front. That was still lately. And although in the introduction, Unute, Dr. Riniralte has said that this is not time for trying to put the blame game on someone or on some states, but we can't escape that if we are going to talk about the reason which leads to the very unfortunate incident that took place on the 26th of July. And what I am going to share tonight is just that filthy politics. This is what everyone should be aware of. When we citizens are regarded as voters, not as human beings, then everything goes, our importance, our significance is lost. 6 policemen, one is a civilian, as I have come to learn, 5 policemen plus 1 civilian. I don't know about the actual facts. They may be termed as 6 voters. How bad can that be? And they are sacrificed in order to get the vote banks of illegal immigrants who migrated from Bangladesh. This is what makes the whole situation very, very sad. And why is this happening? Because they don't have land. They don't have land of their own. So somebody has to make land for them, because somebody needs their vote to come to power so that he may add riches to his already rich, maybe bank accounts. In order to do that, he has to try and find lands, and those lands which are from the neighboring states. And this is why we are faced with the present situation. It is very sad to learn that these 6 men have to die. They don't need to die. Only when someone, now I am asking the credibility of certain politicians, not only in Assam, but in India. We can talk about the international politics also. What is all this politics? When we are talking about politicians who will work for the citizens, who will work for the welfare of its citizens, and who will work for the welfare of the nation or the state. But selfish politicians trying to make their own power, trying to build their own kingdom, and using us, the common people, as the pawns in order to get to their objective. This is what really pained me. And this, I think most of us are from Northeast, and we all know the Those who are in Bangalore, you know Unutei. And from her, you would know the kind of the nature of the Mizos. We are peace-loving people. We have been saying that. And it is not only that we are saying we are peace-loving people, but our behavior, whatever we have done so far, the 20 years insurgency was put to a stop because people, the general public, pushed even those who had gone underground to come overground so that we can live peacefully. And in 1986, peace accord was signed. And till recently, we have been living peacefully. And everyone who comes over to Mizoram are witness to the fact that we are peace-loving people. But peace-loving people doesn't mean that we can be pushed. We can be pushed and shoved and do whatever you like. We have been exploited from the time of the Britishers. Also, people will be talking about how we have been exploited, and even after independence, we have been exploited, taking advantage of the ignorance of the Mizo people, because we are not the cunning kind. We never play, we never scheme, we never plan. As a result of this, outside people will exploit us, and we learn how to fight. Our youths are now very much aware of this kind of exploitation that has been given out to us. And as Utete has also said, we were bombed by the same India because we were ignored. We were ignored. We were given the stepmotherly treatment for so long. But still, what happened is that we are able to remain as a peaceful state. The most, in the, I think, happiness index, our state was given #1. And when it comes to peace-loving nature of the Mizos, we are termed as the most peaceful state. But this does not mean that the tiger within us will always sleep. When provoked, we were provoked. This is one thing I want to share tonight. We were provoked to such a limit that for every human being, that if you are pushed to the extreme, you will retaliate. And the retaliation was costly. Now people are asking, why is it that there is no death among the Mizos? It is not because we cannot say anything. Why no one died from Mizoram? Maybe we know how to hide from those gunshots. Maybe there are some police are better in running than fighting, because they may be running because they don't want to fight, but someone is pushing them to fight. So like the previous panelist has said, I think we have to come to that, we have to come out with something which will make us know what is trying to divide us. The brain behind all these things, the brain behind the loss of these 6 people. And we are counting the loss of 6 people, but life is very, very valuable. At the same time, not as much, but what has been suffered by people in the border areas, the Mizo people, that also needs to be considered when we talk about the losses that is going on. But what I would like to say tonight is that there is
in 1 minute.
I'm going to sum up. There is a brain behind the unfortunate incident that happened. But all of us, even the Assamese, I am urging everyone that we are sisters. Only when we unite, then we can be a stronger force to contend with the mainland India and go ahead with the development along with the other states of India. So let's remain as a solid 7 sisters, and let not these filthy politicians or politics disturb our peaceful, loving nature. So let peace prevail. And again, my heart goes out to the family of those 6 deceased people. I hope that tonight we will be able to come up with some, we cannot, we are not the ones to make, solution to the problems, but it will unite us together. So let this Northeast Solidarity Association or whatever union be a platform which will make us more united so that we can be a strong, united force. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dikte Namte. You are making such a political statement. Yes, everybody is political. We cannot be neutral. You are very clear with your stand. So therefore, this is a political agenda, not public interest. Thank you very much. Now we are having two people from different states. Is it Pisak Singh from Manipur is with us? He was very busy. Maybe he is not here now. Is Mary from Nagaland? Mary, are you there? Oh, okay. Now we'll invite Mary Kat from Nagaland.
Hello, everyone. Good evening to you all. Thank you, ma'am, for giving me this time. I'll just take 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, as she said, regarding the Assam and Nagaland border issues. Assam-Nagaland border dispute has been more than 5 decades. The last few decades has seen so many of attacks, killings, over-encroachment, and ownership of land. Ever since Nagaland was carved out of Assam's Naga Hills district in 1963, there has been border disputes occurring from time to time since the attainment of the statehood. And this has hampered the day-to-day life of many Nagas living in the border belts. Tonight, I want to share at least just 2 incidents. One was happened in the year 2014 August, where there were clashes along the Assam and Nagaland border in Kolaga district in Assam. About 11 people died and thousands of people fled their homes following the incident. The Naga Hills were part of undivided Assam, as we all know, in 1957. But territorial disputes started more or less after Nagaland attained statehood. Another recent incident that we all know happened in the month of June, July, and the talk is still going on, which we all know that Assam has encroached upon the land of Nagas. They have occupied the land that is inside the territory of Nagaland. It happened at Zerang Valley in Mokokchung district of Nagaland state, where the Assam police personnel have attacked and captured a private farm by setting up a camps and stationing hundreds of police personnel at the site. It can be lamented, and we lament for that, such a high-handedness of Assam police personnel remains an unexplained misery, which is best known to the concerned people like you and I. The Ao Students Organization, which is the apex body of Ao Naga tribe in Nagaland, said that the Ao villages, which have a link road of Naga Changka at the said valley, that is Zerang Valley in Mokokchung district, has been closed since November 2020, which has caused numerous hardships to the general public. Due to these reasons, economic blockades, killings, confusion, bans, and agitations are all inevitable, affecting commuters, and living the citizens of Nagas in particular and Northeast in general in Tiobati. So I want to urge everyone, as Northeast, as Naga, I have learned first-hand knowledge that the knowledge handed down by our elders, our foremothers, and our forefathers on survival in our land is not to be disregarded, not to be engrossed, not to intrude, not to take others, not to engross others' boundary and all that. And failure to practice and uphold this wisdom can only result in tragedy and disharmony for an individual or a group. So we have a strong sense of self as a community, as we have already learned from other panelists which have shared. So we know that who we are and why we are as we are. And we learn all that through our legends, our foremothers, our forefathers. And we speak with that, we speak with our close ties with our spiritual world, our land, and our reverence and understanding of our environment and ecological system as a whole. So with that, I urge all the like-minded people from all walks of life to come together and be peacemaker in these trying times, in solving the problem one day at a time for a better Northeast tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary, for your insights. And what you are sharing seems to be very familiar with the experiences of Mizoram at this time. It was almost a month last year, 2020, after COVID. There was an economic blockade. So economic blockade seems to be the strategy that has been used by Assam government in order to subdue others. So before I go to other panelists, let me share with you a map of Assam and Northeast in particular. Oh, no, I did not copy. I'm sorry, I did not copy. Yeah. Okay, now is Father Anto is around? Father Anto? Yeah, if he is not around, Dr. Teki from Arunachal is having a lot of network problem. Let us see whether he is here or not. Dr. Teki. Yeah, he said that he is an engineer and BSNL is the only network, and so they have a lot of problem for another month also. So that is a reality. I will invite Advocate K.R.M. Rodfella now, because he also wrote a long letter, but to highlight what are the main issues that he would like to bring. Fella, over to you. 3 minutes.
Oh, can you hear my voice?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, yes.
My name is K.R.M. Rodfella, and I'm presently working as a lawyer under Guwahati High Court. And also I am the legal advisor of Joint Action Committee on Inner-Line Forest Reserve Demand. Well, last night, Dr. Mineral texted me and she requested me
blue color kan man ta big one kan dia po kha ngai shem ka papa omara ka ha to lu to kan zai shem pot
Yeah,
don't know
please,
mo kha dia ma se
please mute. Please mute. Yeah, unless you speak. Yeah.
Okay. Last night, Dr. Mineral texted me and she requested me to have a brief introduction about the article which I wrote last night for the Indian government.
shem so ka e chalu to ka
So within 3 minutes, let me try to introduce about the history of Mizoram and let me also try to have conclude in 2-3
John.
points. Ready? Yeah. Before
Yeah,
the British,
Yes, yes. Can you mute anybody who do not speak? Please mute because there is a lot of distraction. Yes, go ahead, please.
before the British era, Mizo clans lived in autonomous village which headed by the respective local chief. The chief were the absolute leaders of our respective clans, having full sovereignty within their territories. But after the British intervention, the British rulers subjugate our land
Sa
and
han dongay shem
the Lusai Hills
janin I football.
and the Lusai Hills was formally included under the British India by the proclamation of Foreign Department on 6 September 1895. And in the year 1921, the Lusai Hills district was classified as backward tract as per the provision of Section 52 and 52A of Government of India Act 1919. And later, the Government of India Act, according to the Government of India Act 1935, the Lusai Hills was declared as excluded area from the provincial autonomy of Assam. And when India got independence on 15 August 1947, the Lusai Hills was annexed under the Union of India without taking the consent of the then political leaders, Mizo Union leaders and Zalian Paul Umfo, United Freedom Organization, Mizo Freedom Organization. And under the new independent Indian state, the Lusai Hills was put under the province of Assam, with having a district council as per the provisions mentioned in Article 242, which is particularly
Shem.
defined
Mami Omari.
6th schedule of the Indian
Mami
Constitution.
Omari Jamo.
And in 1959, there was a political reorganization of Northeast India. And according to the Section 6 of the Northeast Reorganization Act, the boundary of Mizoram Lusai Hills was demarcated without obtaining the consent of the Mizo leaders, Mizo political leaders. And based on the Northeast Reorganization Act 1971, the boundary of Mizoram was demarcated without taking the consent of the Mizo political leaders. So let me want to stress this one. And since then, the Assam government frequently encroach our ancestral land and sometimes they burning our village and huts. But with the Mizo, we never resort to violence because we don't want violence. We calmly waited for peaceful negotiation and we try to avoid violence as far as we could. But unfortunately, as we see that on 26 September 26 July 2021, 200 Assam policemen came to our land and destroyed several vehicles, which were Mizo vehicles, which were traveling along the national highway between Vading and Lalipur of Assam State. And when the local people proceeded to the site to inquire, unfortunately, the unarmed civilians were assaulted by the Assam police, thereby causing injuries to several civilians. And in that situation, the Mizoram police have no other option but to respond spontaneously in order to protect the civilians from the violence of the Assam police. But in the meantime, we are deeply saddened by the needless death and injuries of which was provoked by the Assam government. So looking back to the Assam history, looking back to the past, it is crystal clear that 1966 insurgency and the recent incident arose due to the provocation of the Assam government. And it is indeed a matter of fact that both the incident in 1966 and the recent border tension could be avoided if the Assam government stopped pushing the limit of the Mizo people. So it is very high time for the union government to learn from the history and to take necessary actions. We the Mizo people have one demand from the government, from the union government. It is justice to our people and justice for our land. Let us show a good Indian to the people of Mizoram and for the Mizoram land. Unless and until we are having, unless and until the union of government intervened on our border issue, the conflict, the dispute between Assam and will never negotiated. So, for my conclusion, let me want to raise one demand from for the Indian government. It is justice for our people and for our land. Let us show good Indian to the people and for the land of the Mizoram. Then only we can win their hearts and justice will come true through the development of all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Phila, for highlighting the historical development of the boundary disputes and also concluding with the present context right now and with their great demand on justice and human rights. Thank you very much. Let me see whether Urmila, you are here? Urmi? She was also very busy. Yeah. Mai is here. Mai? Mai was having a lot of network problem this morning, today, and I would like to request her. Mai around? Okay, she is not here. Now I will request Mr. Lalchan Puya, who also wrote a big letter. So let him highlight his letter. Over to you, Tante. Unmute. You are still mute. Unmute. No.
Thank you so much, Sunute. I forgot to unmute. Now, this is a very good opportunity to be with Northeast Forum. And it's good to know that there are so many people, concerned people, who are interested in the boundary issues as of these days. Now, these boundary issues have escalated since 2018, Zopai, and 2019, 2021 till today, and during the October 2020, everyone knows that it escalated ultimately into a almost month-long economic blockade at Dolai. Now, as far as this present context and the reason for my participation is concerned, I believe that I have been chosen to speak in this platform because I have written an open letter to the Managing Director and Editor-in-Chief of Republic Network, Mr. Arnab Goswami, who is Assamese himself, domiciled in mainland India, in Mumbai. And everyone was so eager to watch the debate, which he has hosted on Tuesday. And then in that debate, as usual, as expected, there, in spite of two Mizo panelists present, there was just no time to express the sentiment and the true picture of the event that unfolded on the day. The Honorable Member of Parliament, Mr. Laru Sanga and Mr. Chunga were present, and they were not given a chance because, as usual, Mr. Arnab Goswami started his intimidation act, intimidation practice of shouting and making lots of noise. So I was sure that they did not make their point. That is why I wrote this open letter, and I have mailed the letter to the organization. I am not sure whether they have received it or not. The mail did not bounce. It is up to them to open the mail and read and respond. Now, in that debate, Mr. Arnab Goswami has asked 2 questions. Rather, he has asked several questions, but 2 questions came out. The first question was, why did Assam police enter into Mizoram on this fateful day of 26th July 2021, Monday? And the second question was, who shot first? Now, I have written at least 3 articles, three things which I have named them one by one. One was resilience in the hills, and the other was who started the fight, and the other is the latest one was yesterday, open letter to Arnab Goswami. And the second letter was, the second question was shot first. Now let me deal them one by one, and I'm done with my part here. The first question which Arnab Goswami asked was, why did Assam police enter into Mizoram border? Now on that day, there is an entity called Barak Bulletin, which you can access in the website. At 3:30 in the afternoon, the website announced that the reason for the Kachar district administration entering into Mizoram was, as announced. Let me read ad verbatim. As announced, Kachar district administration, under instructions of Dispur, which is the government capital, is forcing Mizo battalions and armed civilians to retreat. Now, Mizo forces or Mizo outposts never encroached into Assam territory. We have our outposts and we have placed our police personnel within Mizoram, within Vairengte, to be precise, near the auto rickshaw stand. Now they have this party, the big party, comprising of police chief, the DC of Kachar, OC of Dholai, and under unnamed officials, with more than 200 strong, armed to the teeth police personnel, crossed over from Lailapur into this particular spot, and they overran a CRPF outpost on the way, and they were trying to force and overthrow the small police, Mizoram police outpost in the Vairengte there. Now, hearing this, the civilians came, and there was ruckus, and there was confrontation. But as I have read Balak Bulletin, I hope everyone knows that under instruction of Dispur, the big party of this magistrate and police force has arrived to drive out our civilians, our villagers, as well as the police force stationed there. Now, who why did they enter cannot be answered by our panelists on that night in the debate. So I request and I urge Mr. Arnab Goswami to ask the Chief Minister of Assam the reason for this force, why they enter Mizoram. And the answer also could be provided by the police chief, the district of the DC of Kachar on that day, because they were acting on instructions. We cannot give the answer. Only the Chief Minister of Assam will be able to give the answer why they enter into Mizoram. Number two, who shot first? Now, the same Barak Bulletin wrote, and they said, the local MLAs said, Mr. H.B. Sharma, who's the chief minister, has given order to fire to the Assam police. So they have come with a firing order from the chief minister. That is why they have shot first. When the first shot rang out, the Kolasip DC has come over into the confrontation site, and he was trying to broker peace with the police chief and DC of Kachar. At that moment, shots began to ring out. Shots were fired, and the SP of Kolasip has to run away and look for shelter. I heard that he has run over into the camp of the CRPF stationed there, and the CRPF were unable to give him shelter, security. So that is the case, and I'm sure, and everybody in his right mind will know for sure that Mizoram police personnel will never shoot first while the chief, the Kolasip SP, is in the midst of the negotiation. So the first shot were fired, obviously and apparently and surely, by the police personnel who has accompanied the big crowd. So I would like Arnab Goswami to look into this perspective, and I want him to know that that night, the debate, our panelists could not give a straight answer. Lastly, I'm going to come to an end. Mr. Arnab Goswami was so jubilant, and he was trying to intimidate with his shouting ruckus and making noise, lots of noise, and charging the panelists from Mizoram and asking them why police of Mizoram were celebrating the deaths of 6 personnel. Now everybody knows, and we are so saddened by the news that valuable lives have been lost during the firing. Now, he has referred, Mr. Arnab Goswami has referred to a clip which circulated. It was shot by our people here in Mizoram, and it circulated, and he has managed to see it. And in the clip, you can see youth, young guys, shaking hands and giving congratulatory gesture to police. Okay. Now the police, after the last gunshots were fired, they have emerged from the jungle, and there was no news of casualty while the shaking hands between the youth of Mizoram, Vairengte, and police happened. So this was taken by Arnab as a gesture of celebration. I would like to know the whole of the nation. I would like to announce, let it known to everyone tonight that this is not celebration of the death due to the firing. It is just a congratulatory note. Now, lastly, people come into your territory in big numbers and try to push you and bully you, and they started firing. Do you expect the Mizoram police to welcome them with open arms, give them out sweets and mithai, or garland them? I'm very confident that nobody in his right mind will when they come with a very bad intention of doing bad things. So that is the reason why I have written an open letter to Mr. Goswami, and I want to clarify these two questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tante, for your input. And also responding back to the role of media, negative role of media has to be taken very seriously. Okay, let me also make my comment. Why do you take interview from Arnab Goswami anyway? I have been boycotting him more than 2 years. I will never take his interview because he has a habit of shouting down people, zeroing people. He really make our MPs and MP candidate into zero. I will never take him seriously. So I would like to encourage everyone, not his people, not to take his interview anymore because he's not serious. He is not maintaining his integrity as journalism. Anyway, that is also my anger. I want everybody to know that his integrity has been going down. Okay, from now, we have 3 panelists from our team. Set them free. Mr. Amit Goldsmith will speak, and then Reverend Dr. Roger Guideward also, and then concluded with Father Tom, our main person. Then after that, after the 3 people speaking, they will speak very briefly how they will help us, how the direction we have to go, and how we have to carry on. How do we look forward to the future, and then what is our plan and everything. So they will tell us. So now, after that, we expect to have a time of discussion. Yes. Now I'll invite Mr. Amit Goldsmith. Okay, I think he was there, but I don't know. Is Reverend Dr. Roger Guideward is here? Yeah.
Yes, I'm here.
Over to you.
Well, friends, our main concern is how do we promote peace and goodwill in our Northeast region? I would like to just quickly mention 3-4 points. Number 1, we have to create a greater sense of mutual respect. Now I am in Assam and I'm aware of what has been happening. One ethnic group against another ethnic group, all of Northeast India, whether it is Bodos versus Santalis, whether it is Karbis versus Dimasas, and you look at every state in Northeast India, we as Christians have to overcome this kind of ethnic prejudice which we have against one another. We need to cultivate a spirit of love as disciples of Christ, of mutual respect. That has to be done by us at the individual level. If we belong to different groups, then we have to cultivate this in our groups. So this is something that is important. When it comes to settling border issues, we have to look at our histories of the past. And one very important thing which comes to tribals is tribal identity is linked with the land. And tribal culture is linked with the land in which the tribals live. And therefore, the government, which is responsible to solve the boundary issue, should keep in mind this sense of tribal, cultural, ethnic identity with land, and therefore try to resolve the boundary issue in a just manner. This is something that we need to look at very carefully. The other thing is, what do we do now? A third thing that I'm suggesting is that maybe in our own individual level or at our group levels, we have to encourage an online campaign among our own respective state members and Northeast India at large. A campaign that justice and peace go together. We cannot have a false sense of peace without justice, and therefore the issues of the people of Northeast India have to be looked at with justice and concerns of peace and development of the region. So this is another important thing. I would like to endorse what Dr. Basai Moit was mentioning, that we have to have people's delegations going to the center. Of course, with COVID and all the restrictions that are there and the difficulty of meeting our VIPs makes it very difficult. But we should have people's delegations, not only going to the center, but if possible, people's delegations within Northeast India, trying to meet our chief ministers. So there should be people's delegations meeting with responsible people in our respective states, as well as with the center, to impress upon them that we all are citizens of India. There can be no discrimination of mainland India and Northeast India. We all are India. And the well-being of the country depends upon the well-being of all. So those are my 4 thoughts which I would like to share with the group. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Reverend Dr. Roger Guideworth, for your proposal. And those are extremely, extremely important. Now I see Mr. Goldsmith. So over to you, Mr. Goldsmith.
Thank you, Dr. Rini. Thank you so much. And I appreciate all those who presented their views. And in the media and newspaper, we are reading, yes, it is an issue. We are all concerned. And the border issue, which is going on with Assam and other states in the region. What I would like to say at this point of time, that since 1996, when there was ethnic clash in Kokradar district between Bodos and the Santals, the church came together, all the churches together, and did the peace work. And from there, the Joint Peace Mission team was formed, and it continues till today. The last involvement of Joint Peace Mission team was, it was already referred, in Assam-Nagaland border, Golaghat district, in Sorupathar area. And we had a very fruitful peace process with the Chief Minister of Nagaland, Mr. Jiliang at that time, and in Assam with Mr. Gogoi. And some kind of peace returned into that area, despite of so much of difficulties. Now, my point at this time is to explore possibilities of these kind of bodies, the church bodies, to come in and look into and do the peace work, leaving aside the political settlement that is with the government. And that time also we left it with the government, the chief ministers of 2 states. But otherwise, people to people, we have worked. And we have seen the fruits of that intervention at that point of time. So therefore, my appeal to all of us at this point of time, that as a church and ecumenical movement, both the Northeast Regional Bishops Conference and Northeast India Christian Council coming together, and we have so far already worked as Joint Peace Mission team. We have also gone to Kandamal in that year to be with the people who suffered so much in Odisha. So therefore, at this point of time, exploring possibilities of doing that kind of work from the church bodies. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rini, for this time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Goldsmith. So you are informing us that there are some body like Justice and Peace Committee are there in the past who are involved in. Where are they now? Yeah, can we also collaborate with them? So
Yes,
to
definitely.
find out,
It is.
yes,
Yeah, Dr. Rini, it is a very, very unique body. We don't have structure, we don't have positions, we don't have an account. But when it comes to, since 1996, we have responded to, to the ethnic problems in different states, and it was well appreciated. In Assam, we have done most of the work. When there was problem with the Muslims and the other side, the other groups in Karbi Anglong and in Bodo areas, we have done that, and this body is still there. If we feel that this body can come into and do some work, yes, this body should be available. Thank you.
okay, now it's already 25 years later. If that body can be revived or the same people are there, I think that area can be explored further. Thank you very much for that information. Now I will request our main host and main person, Father Tom. Father Tom is stationed in Guwahati right now. So over to you, Father Tom.
Thank you, Dr. Rini, for giving me this opportunity to speak. At the outset, I would like to communicate our deep sentiments to the people who lost their lives, the ones who, our brothers and sisters who are in the hospitals, who are injured, and those who are suffering because of the blockade. And we, at a time when we need to be concentrating on vital issues of our existence, of our life, COVID, unemployment, migration, job loss, we are beset with this kind of issues which should not have happened. And as many of our predecessors have said, the media projects, there are a lot of messages that are going around in the media, social media, and it was amazing to see the spontaneous response of people for this meeting today. We almost 200 people are watching on our YouTube, and there are already 100 people on the Zoom platform. That means we are not happy with what is happening. But what can we do? I would go along with Dr. Roger and then many others. We need to give alternate voice. This is not, we have just one channel, maybe one national channel, and that we do not have access to many things that are in the world. But let us make use of the available channels for communication. The speakers who spoke, we spoke the actual reality, the pangs in our hearts, the aches in our hearts. So I would suggest in the coming days, we continue this exercise through this kind of meetings, maybe the voices of women, the voices of youth, the voices of activists, and people as citizens of India. And then also as people who belong to the states, the Northeast region, the Seven Sisters. And I am aware of the wonderful solidarity that people in the Northeast have in other parts of India. When in Bangalore, when in Bombay or Delhi, when we say we are from the Northeast, we have that affinity, that love, and that should not be broken just because there were one or two incidents. May solidarity thrive, and only when there is solidarity, we can live in peace. And I also would like to close a little observation. Violence is an industry for some people. Blockade is an industry for some people. And when we are beset with this kind of issues, many people think that we will fight and that we are against each other. Today, we have shown that we are one and we will remain as one. May our voices continue to reach to people who want us to be disturbed. Thank you very much. And over to you, Dr. Rini. Before that, I would like to say any communication network, say for example, hosting a meeting, keeping it on live on YouTube, we are always there. And then I am with the Northeast Solidarity. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Father Tom, for highlighting what has been our reality. Wherever we may be, we have some affinity. Yeah, I was in Bangalore for 27 long years and the president of Northeast Solidarity, and where we all come together in one umbrella. We help each other, no matter what. It doesn't make any difference between any community. That is the beauty of community life. So now we are now 8:30 plus. Can we have about 10 minutes discussion? Somebody would like to contribute anything, because information like what had happened in one incident and all that may not be accommodated now. But how do we go on from this year? What kind of steps we may need to take? Mr. Goldsmith has proposed that the churches has to be engaged, has to be active, because we have a history of success. So let us continue. That is one very powerful proposal. And there may be other proposals, because the power of media is very strong and young people are very good. K-pop funds are also disturbing the Assam government as well. You all know that, yeah. So let us invite any one of you to speak and bring some proposal. The floor is open. Popcorn pops up. You please unmute yourself.
Hello, Dr. Rini.
Yes, please.
May I request Professor Dikin Namte? I thought she has to have a chance to speak on that. In the program, her name was there. May I request Professor Diki?
Yes, Dike, you have any proposal to bring? You are being requested, yes. Maybe you have a good point.
I hope Professor Diki is one of the panelists for this program.
I think it's
Yes.
But I couldn't hear her.
Hello?
Yes.
Kung can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes. I hope your speech for this program.
Yeah, I have, maybe Kungte, you have missed what I had said because I was called in the beginning. Anyway, I don't know, Unute, do I need to make some resolution? I mean, propose some resolution?
No, if you have anything, this is an open forum because panel presentation is over. Now we are coming to come to conclusion of recommendation.
Has
Yeah.
asked me one thing, but like I said, the tension that is between the boundaries, the bordering states, is mainly, it looks like it's mainly because of the brain of one. I don't want to name him actually because
No. Dictate, please bring a proposal now.
Okay, that's what I'm
saying.
saying. Proposal to bring peace to the bordering states. That's what you said. The first, the first thing is, we people, like Pupu Roger has also mentioned that we should propagate peace among all the sisters. And when sister states, we the people, maybe, every one of us wants peace. Even the Assamese, I know they want peace. Peaceful living, we want for everyone. But when in the border, the military personnel are still there. Defending everyone is, we are all talking about defending our own states. But with the arms and everything that is there, of course, we have to defend our boundary. But at the same time, with the presence of these people, it's very easy to escalate the tension that is brewing with the civilians also. And as a result of that, things flare up very easily. So what I feel is that some peacekeeping envoy should be posted on the interstate boundaries. Peacekeeping envoys, yeah.
Okay, that is very good. For example, once you travel Meghalaya, once you travel Nagaland, you don't want to confront with army. Military people, so you want civilian, you would like to enter into a village. That is a good proposal.
No, Unute, that's not what I'm saying. I am talking about steps to be taken at the level of the national level, that the central government should keep some peacekeeping envoys, not like the the CRPF or the whoever is there in the Assam border who did not maintain peace. But we want somebody to keep.
No. Dictate, those are the Mizoram disturbed period. Peacekeeping force are the most dangerous. Look at the military, armed forces, special power act in Manipur and Nagaland, more than 60 years now.
I am talking about the border only.
No. We don't want. We don't want any armed forces or anybody. We want only civil people.
I don't know what.
Okay.
I'm not making
I can understand your point very well.
Because it's the Mizoram police and the Assam police which are facing each other. That is what I'm talking about. So if we are on both sides, then things will flare up very easily. That is why I believe that some people, it may be anyone who will be there to keep both the sides when things are going to flare up. Somebody who will be keeping peace. That's what I'm saying, not the in Manipur.
Okay. That is clear. Okay, any other proposal? Yeah, that peacekeeping is number one.
Can I come in?
Oh, sure.
Can I come in, Professor Rini? Because I think time is running out. Let me go fast. The proposal which I would like to bring forward is, see, the forum which is being made set tonight, Northeast Solidarity Peace on Boundary Issues. I think that the term is very catchy and it's quite nice. So why don't the Solidarity Peace on Boundary Forum be set up? I think we should set up this forum and rope in more people from all states. For example, the absence of voice from Manipur, voice from Tripura, and voice from Assam, it's so conspicuous tonight because we do not hear anyone from these particularly three states, perhaps four, Arunachal, or Sikkim, 5. So I think in order to make this happen, I think the Northeast Solidarity Peace on Boundary Issues, a forum should be set up to rope in people from all the states and make the voice heard in state legislative assemblies, in the home ministry, in the union ministry. Thank you.
Okay, that is also another good proposal, that this focus has to be extended. Unrepresented states also may be invited in the next meeting. Yes, Manipur,
Can I have a chance?
invited. Arunachal, we invited them, but they cannot make it. I think they have a network. Of course, they apologize for the network problem. Okay, that we have
Madam,
already
can I have a chance?
good points. Okay, Phila,
Yes.
please.
Well, as per my opinion, my proposal is central government should interfere without any fear and favor, and some government also would stop encroaching our ancestral land, and only through which the real peace and harmony will be prevailed. So my proposal is central government should interfere without any fear and favor, and some government also will stop encroaching our ancestral land, and only through which the real peace and harmony would be prevailed. Thank you.
Okay, I think we have, as a civilian, we have a much more responsibility, because that incident firing between the two states had happened 2 days, 1.5 days actually, after the home minister met all the 8 chief ministers of Northeast. So we still expecting the central government to help us? Is this the help? We get it?
Without
Or
any fear and
is it
favor.
is there any other political game behind? Yeah, certainly. Yeah, proposal is good, because where else we go? Where else we go? We have nowhere else to go other than central government. So let us put more stronger voices in order to enforce peace and right and human right and livelihood and other stuff. Yes. Yes, Tete, you have some point to make? Yes.
May I add? I don't know
Yes.
how this would be taken forward, but see, the national highway is again blocked, and the railway lines have been destroyed or have been tampered with. Now, whose properties are these? Who are in charge? Who is in charge of, and who is responsible for the national highway and the railway lines? Can we maybe, as the Solidarity Forum, take this forward to those who are in authority over these two communication lines, the national highway and the railway lines? I think they need to respond. They're just being silent. Their property has been destroyed, has been tampered with. And do any people, north, east, west, south, do any people have the right to block the national highway? I think these two questions at least could be addressed to the central authorities, and to those to whom these communication lines rightly belong. Why are they not responding? Why are they not taking up their responsibility of safeguarding their properties and doing something about it? That's just a thought.
Yeah, well, that is correct, because what is that the national highway has been there for? Because this is also an area we have to keep in mind. Look, is policy, up is policy, because they are using underdevelopment as a method to subdue further the Northeast community. It is very clear. The Indian central government security policy is very different compared with China and all. So therefore, it is important for us to question, how could somebody block a railway track? How could somebody block national highway?
Exactly.
And it is possible in Northeast. It will not be possible in South. No, in South, I lived 30 years in Bangalore. It is not possible. People will not do, they will not even allow, but it is possible in Northeast. That is a big area. Any other voice?
Madam Renee, just a second. Yeah, I think we are coming to a kind of consensus. Just picking up from the response, I would say we need to make a statement by Northeast Solidarity. We sympathize with those who are affected, those who died, and then we make an appeal that the national highway should be opened and the railway lines need to be restored, and that peace needs to be. This is the and then the voice of our people from the Northeast. And as rightly said, this statement can be jointly signed by people from the Northeast, and I am sure we have people from all over our northeastern states. And if 2-3 people from each state, if they can share that and then sign this document, we will also circulate in the media. And that is one thing that I think that is very, very important. And then we are not making any demand. We can make an appeal for peace, normalcy, and so on. And then secondly, I would say we need to continue this exercise, because media is doing so much of havoc. And I would say on a regular interval, maybe today it is today is Thursday, after 2 days again, maybe on Sunday, we can come together again with different panelists from different states of Northeast India. And I think, as Sir Goldsmith said about joint JPMD, well, that is a very good suggestion. We can explore that possibility also. But there are a lot of things that this solidarity can do. I think let us move on to that. And then I think we can come to some kind of concrete action plan in the days to come. Over to you, Dr. Rini.
Okay, I think it's going to be 9. Anyone
Dr.
who do not...
Rini.
Yes.
Dr. Rini.
Okay.
Can I?
Sir. Lomte, yeah.
I'm Lomte, yeah. Yes, I also would like to endorse and agree with the other proposals made by friends. But whenever there is disharmony and conflict, we have to find out the root cause. That is the most important thing. Who is the culprit behind? So I think if we can form a kind of forum, a facts-finding forum. Now, for example, the national journalists and those people who are trying to do some inquiry have been blocked by the Assam government. So as Northeast people, we can come together and find out the facts behind all these conflicts. This border issue is not only between Assam and Mizoram. It is also between Nagaland and Assam, between Arunachal and Assam, between some other states. So we have to find the culprit, and we have to send a very strong message to that culprit. We have to isolate that. Otherwise, yes, let justice prevail. Let us cultivate peace and justice. That is okay. But if we don't find the root cause, I don't think we may be able to have peace. So because of that, I think I strongly would like to suggest that we have to form a facts-finding forum who will be able to find the main reason behind all these conflicts and disharmony in Northeast. And if we can find out the main culprit behind this, we can send a very strong message and we can isolate them. So that should be, I think, the step we have to take. That's my humble submission.
Oh, thank you very much for that. This morning, I listened to an interview of David Tangliana. He was suggesting that boundary commission has to be established so that in every strong committee has to be constituted so that we can study all these boundary issues. That can be in line with that what Lomte was proposing. Any one or two more hands? Yeah, who have not spoken so far, or anybody? Phila, you have one more point?
Enough.
Okay. Anybody who? Okay, Purusiama Neta is here. Okay, please go ahead. Bring proposal. Unmute. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Unmute. You are still muted.
Okay, thank you. I don't know whether this is a proposal or an idea. I think this conflict background is there is some idea of making another state, amalgamating this Hailakandi, Kachar, and Karimganj district to make in one state for the infiltrators. And this may be the political agenda promoted by the Himanta. Secretly, I think this is my version. Before that, the Assam and Mizoram never have a conflict. Then another point is, where is the starting point of the inner line? What is outer line and what is inner line? We have to think about this. The outer line, when we say the outer line from Mizoram is near Tolai. When Assam say the outer line is near Vairengte. But their inner line is near Dolai. This inner line and outer line is never, ever a boundary indication. So why they claim the inner line regulation line for boundary? It is a misinterpretation. The Chief Minister of Assam say the constitutional boundary is there. Then where is the boundary actual point in the constitution? Is it mentioned? Where is the point? Where is the degree? Latitude, longitude, where is the degree? So to say, it is very easy to say constitutional boundaries, but where is the actual point? That is my point. We have to think about how the things will come. Is it a preparation for another state? We never confront with Assamese people, but these Bangladeshi are entering more and more. Might be due to the global warming. The ocean is leveling is higher and higher. People rush to the northeast. This global warming may cause these infiltrators in that district. I think the hidden agenda might be preparing for another state in this 3 districts. That possible. I like to submit that agenda for discussion. Thank you.
Well, that was also very political. It could be true. Yes. Is it Pudusaka? Okay, please unmute yourself.
Can I share my screen? May I share my screen? Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes,
We
yes.
can hear you.
Can I share my screen? Can you see my screen?
You already share. We can see. We can see your screen.
All right. You see, the 1933 boundaries was an imaginary line, as my previous Puro CM head has just said. And it is just an imaginary lines which is not approved by either any authorities. This is just a lines. And this was taken up in the Northeast area reorganization during when Mizoram was UT. And these same imaginary lines were followed. And that is why the whole communities unanimously decided that inner lines of 1875 be followed. And these 1875 lines was properly surveyed. A ground survey was done, and the geographical location, latitude, longitude, everything was there. There were 46 pillars erected. And as Purosiam had said that one of the pillars was erected near the Dholai Bridge. And we need to locate from the archives, either from inside India or inside Burma or inside England. We have to locate. This is the challenge of locating. And we talk about 1875 lines. We just know in papers. We have to locate on ground scientifically. So this is very important for the young generation to find it out. And inside these lines, between 1971 lines and 1871 lines, there are many forest villages. There are many forest villages. And these forest villages were there and times immemorial. Maybe before the Britishers came and started tea plantation. So these people, their rights to live in their motherland, Mizoram, also has to be pressed upon. And according to the Assam Forest Act, no new settlement is allowed inside these reserve forests. Even in Mizoram, inside our reserve forests, Lengteng Sanctuary or wherever, no settlement is allowed unless there were earlier forest people. So these returns of the populations have to be submitted to the government of India, protecting the tribal original ethnic culture of those people whose livelihood is inside the forest. They cannot be evicted. Now, if you see the records of the Assam, the non-tribals are now majority in these forest villages. Whether appropriate approval or dereservation was done, we have to find out.
Pudusak, we have to close now.
Okay.
Can you finish
So,
in 1 minute?
To cut it short, we have to not only protect our rightful boundary, we have to protect our brothers and sisters inside those reserve forests, inside 509 square miles. There are people living there, times immemorial. And the bottom line is we have to find out the scientific location of 46 pillars from the archives. Thank you.
It might be very difficult to find out.
Anyway, that boundary commission can also, if Dr. David Tang Liana's proposal was well taken, if that can be carried forward, it may help. It's not only Mizoram, but also other states also will need that kind of help. So let us go forward. Now I will hand over to Father Tom to make a concluding remarks and then close. Father Tom.
Oh, hello, Prini.
Yes.
Professor Dictica program po thu soi về tur khan in on tar lang sia chan sit pe mi ala hu chu atik lo emin o kati hun tem te chu pe veula han soi về se thalo mo karon ti ve mai
soi châu to lom iron
So
chen ma
voi
khan
nia sei to lo. Voi nia sei
ani
to.
mo
iron chen kai ni ga soi châu to lom
hun na che book chia speaker ten hun na du ang tok na nei thei big lo long.
Okay, I think that we are. Yeah.
amar chu
Okay, we need. Excuse me, we need to wind up now because it is on live and then we cannot speak in our mother tongue for the time being. Certainly, this is the initial program. Pudu, can you stop your screen sharing?
I'm trying.
Yeah. Okay, you stop. Yeah, there is, okay, fine. Thank you very much. And then certainly this is not the first time and we will continue. And then Father Tom has proposed that maybe Sunday, maybe the earliest possibility. Over to you, Father Tom, for your concluding remarks and wind up.
Thank you, Dr. Rini, and all the participants of today. We came with a firm resolve to establish peace in our states and in our region. And Northeast Solidarity would like to endorse your participation, your firm resolve, and our oneness as Northeast brothers and sisters. We call it 7 sisters, and we will continue to be so. I would like
one brother, 7 sisters and 1 brother.
Yes, 7 sisters and 1 brother. That is such a beautiful term. And then I have been following the chat box in our YouTube channel and then also in Zoom. There is so much of positivity in spite of the violence that we had. We share the sorrow of our people who lost lives, and then there is so much of resolve to work for peace and for brotherhood, and then for our sisters and then 1 brother. Now, I would say that Madam Rini and then those of us who are able to do, I found that there are so many writers. We could write a letter, and then maybe we could post it in our WhatsApp groups. And then, Madam Rini, we can identify a few people who can write a letter, and that letter can be in the form of an appeal that it can go to the government department, that it can go to the media houses, and to the so that I think we can do that, because we are a lot of points have come up. And then shall we agree on having another series of talk on this issue, because this is not going to end. Let us also consider that after that incidents, after many people died, I mean 5-6 people died, the railway line issue, the national highway issue, these are provocative actions by some people. We do not know who they are, but let us not be provoked. And so we need to restrain and tell our people to exercise restraint. And let us also be aware there are we have got states where say Mizoram has got people from all over the place, and then so that kind of polarization should not be allowed. And we need to be very, very cautious about that. And for that, we can continue our process. And I would suggest that next Sunday, we come together, maybe on the same time, 7 o'clock is a good time. During the day, we are busy with other things. And I am just proposing. And let us continue this exercise after 2 days. Maybe after Sunday, we will think of, and then before Sunday, can we write an appeal stating some relevant facts, and then we don't need to accuse anybody in that letter, but we can be we can be fair and then use words that would not hurt anybody else's feeling. So that is what I would suggest towards the end of the meeting. And it was a very fruitful exercise. And may I now suggest somebody to end this meeting with a prayer. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Rini.
Is Dr. Roser around? May I request him?
Madam Rini, he's not there. Can we have somebody else? He has already left the meeting. Yeah.
Yeah. Lomte, you are still there? I can't see you now. Anybody who volunteered to say a prayer? Okay, I'll say. Let us pray. Gracious and loving God, we thank you for giving us an opportunity to come together in this manner at this moment of pain and agony, especially for the loss of lives, police lives, and civilian lives in the context of firing between the two states of Assam and Mizoram. We pray for